A starting lineup functions as an elastic, phase-dependent blueprint designed to establish spatial leverage over an opponent. In the early years of the sport, tactical geometry was aggressively top-heavy. This 2-2-6 configuration demonstrates the strategy of the era, deploying 6 attacking nodes to overwhelm the opponent's defensive third. This 1925 photo of the US and Canadian squads captures the personnel from that era, an age where rules incentivized committing maximum numbers forward. This dominance was disrupted by the 1925 offside rule modification. By reducing the required number of defending players between an attacker and the goal from 3 to 2, direct vertical passes became immediately more lethal. Coaches were forced to seek central stability and deep defensive protection to counter these vertical threats, leading to the abandonment of those top-heavy offensive shapes. That regulatory shift sparked a century-long cycle of tactical development, a continuous rhythm of offensive innovation met by defensive counter-adaptation. This cycle produced the traditional 4-4-2, a system defined by 2 horizontal, compact banks of 4 players. It remains one of the most structurally resilient alignments in the sport's history. As the 2 strikers advance to disrupt the opponent's buildup, the remaining 8 nodes stay locked in a compact block to defend the full width and depth of the defensive third. However, this symmetry creates a structural vulnerability. When facing an opponent playing a 3-man midfield, the 4-4-2's 2 central players are frequently outnumbered in the center circle. This numerical deficit limits a team's ability to retain possession and forces them into reactive defensive roles, preventing the construction of fluid attacking sequences. To gain central dominance, teams must pivot their tactical geometry, accepting that structural balance across the pitch requires a sacrifice elsewhere. The 4-4-2 diamond configuration addresses this by restructuring the midfield. It places a defensive pivot at the base and a playmaker at the apex to facilitate rapid triangular passing. This central focus creates a new risk. As the team's fullbacks advance to provide width, the diamond structure leaves unprotected wide channels that the central midfielders must scramble to cover. Alternatively, the 4-3-3 formation solves central density while enabling a high-intensity press. The front 3 nodes are positioned deep in the opponent's half to regain the ball immediately after possession is lost. This creates a dangerous void on the perimeter. Fast transitioning opponents can exploit the massive space left behind the advancing fullbacks before the defense can reorganize. The success of this system depends on establishing total territorial dominance, a philosophy championed by modern practitioners like Pep Guardiola. Every solution to a central numerical deficit creates a corresponding vacuum on the edges of the pitch, making tactical evolution a series of calculated spatial gambles. The 4-2-3-1 has emerged as a premier modern formation specifically for its balance. Its defining feature is the double pivot, 2 defensive midfielders who anchor the space in front of the backline. These 2 anchors control central transitions and shield the defense, allowing the 4 attacking players to combine creatively in the final third. This balance relies on the center forward's ability to hold up the ball. If the striker is outmuscled or outpaced, they become isolated, causing a total break in the team's possession chain. To avoid this isolation, back 3 systems like the 3-5-2 have seen a modern renaissance. They utilize 3 central defenders and a 5-man midfield to overload the center of the pitch. The structural strain is felt on the touchlines. The 2 wingbacks are solely responsible for covering these massive vertical lanes, required to sprint the full length of the pitch to support attacks and recover to defend wide overloads. While modern formations attempt to provide both defensive shielding and offensive overloads, they do so by transferring the tactical burden onto the extreme physical capacity of individual players. In professional analytics, a formation is viewed as a fluid system that adapts to the phase of the match. Here, a team transitions from a compact 4-4-2 defensive block into a 4-2-3-1 to begin their build-up. As they progress, the nodes push high, morphing the shape into an aggressive 3-2-5 to attack the full width of the opponent's final third. To manage this aggression, the 5 deep players establish a rest defense, shifting centrally to block vertical lanes and disrupt any immediate counterattacks if the ball is lost. Ultimate success depends on a squad's collective execution and their deep cognitive understanding of these dynamic spatial roles as they shift throughout 90 minutes.